Look, while you've been sleeping, there's been a lot of movements of the chess pieces on the chessboard. The death of the Queen Elizabeth means a change to the royal titles of some family members. Charles, who was the Prince of Wales, is now the King and will go by King Charles III. As wife of the King, Camilla is now Queen Consort, a title approved by the Queen prior to her death.
And as confirmed in the King's speech, William, who was the Duke of Cambridge, will take on the new title of Prince of Wales. Upon the death of his grandmother, he was automatically retitled Duke of Cornwall and Cambridge. The same applies to Kate, who will take on the title of Princess of Wales, the first royal to hold that title since Diana.
Wow. With his father and mother taking on the titles of Prince and Princess of Wales, the same applies to George, who will now likely become Prince George of Wales. Charlotte expected to be known as Princess Charlotte of Wales, and the same will likely apply to Prince Louis.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. As grandchildren of the monarch, Harry and Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet, have the rights to new titles. That means Archie could become a prince, while Lilibet could be titled princess. But their parents and the King will have the final call on whether they take on those new titles.
I hope you got all that. There's a lot happening.
A lot to take in there.
Well, the single most important death in human history, that's how some have described the passing of Queen Elizabeth II.
It's certainly a huge moment in history. To discuss, we're joined by royal historian Dr. Ed Owens in London. Ed, thank you for joining us. How do you think historians will look back on the second Elizabethan age in the future?
Well, I think in terms of measuring the legacy of Elizabeth II, really she's going to go down in history as the greatest constitutional monarch. Of course, what I mean by that is that she didn't, throughout her reign, articulate political opinions publicly. She kept her own views very, very close to her chest. And this meant that she remained uncontroversial, uncontentious as a monarch. It meant that no matter what the public believed politically, they could identify with her because she didn't have a political identity of her own. And I think she was the most perfect version of the modern constitutional monarch that Britain's ever had.
So difficult not to offer opinions either way politically during so many different tenures. I wonder if she chose that deliberately, or whether it was because she was so young when she obviously became the Queen. What is it? What's the answer to that?
I think it's a bit of both. If we compare her to her son and now the King, Charles III, he obviously came into the role as a much younger man, and he's had a great deal of time, really, as heir to the throne, to develop interests relating to the public and the political world. And I think, therefore, he's inevitably sort of found himself on, at times, controversial territory. As it was, Elizabeth came to the throne in her mid-20s. And she wasn't going to express political opinions, much like her father, George VI. She'd realised by this point, and the monarchy had realised, that to express a political opinion is to court controversy, because you're going to fall out with someone. And crowns fall and monarchies collapse when the person at the head of that institution becomes too politicised. So I think it was a very deliberate decision on the part of both Elizabeth II and her immediate predecessor, George VI.
Yeah, and we know that obviously King Charles III now will have to step back from some of those causes that he has so adherently followed in the past, now that he takes on this new role. Can you remember a time when we have so keenly felt the passing of someone? It's
a great question, and it loops back to your original suggestion that this is one of the most significant deaths the world has ever seen. Certainly, Elizabeth II was an iconic figure. She had a global celebrity, not least because she's been in the public eye for so long. And of course, you guys know this very well. But as head of the Commonwealth and as also monarch of the various realms, that's also meant that she has this global platform. She has an image that reaches far beyond Britain's shores. And I think that means that, you know, when we look to ahead to the funeral, we're going to be seeing world leaders from across the world congregating in London to pay tribute to certainly someone who they would feel deserves that title, one of the greatest icons of all time.
Well said, Doctor. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.
G'day, it's Ali.
And Karl.
Thanks for watching the Today YouTube channel.
Subscribe now for brand new videos every day and exclusive bonus clips.
Ali, say please.
Please? Why?
Please. I don't know.